The governments of the world are only working from day to day. They have no real concept of the future. They just try to use the old methods to do something that's impossible because the old is no longer there. The problems are no longer the same. They have changed dramatically. We are in a new world. People are totally different. Their demands on life are different. Their needs are different. They too are undergoing a tremendous change. And therefore, it's impossible to create the new world with the ways of the past. They have to be abandoned. With the discovery and tragic use on Japan of the atomic bomb, the governments in the world know that they have a weapon so lethal, so toxic, that if used in any future major war, it would destroy all life on planet Earth, human and subhuman alike. The governments of the world, the major ones, have in their minds put that weapon aside. They hope and try and maneuver in such a way as it will not be used. So they have in their minds considered that major war between the big nations, the great nations in the world, is from now on taboo, finished, may not be done. Smaller wars are all right, like in Iraq, where only 1 million people so far have been killed, or in Afghanistan, or in Africa, and so on. Small wars don't count, but major war, they know, is the end of life on planet Earth. So the energy which went to make war, and which culminated in the discovery of the atomic bomb, that energy doesn't just disappear. That energy has gone round and round and round the world looking for a new modus operandi, a new home. And it's found it. Commercialization. All the energy that poured into war and the making of war is pouring into the economy, into market forces, into, in a word, the commercialization of life. And commercialization has only one end, one target: the production of the greatest amount of money. So today, the production of money, commercialization, is worshipped as the status of a new religion. It penetrates every aspect of life, making people as such, and the needs of people more and more redundant. The people who are the workforce of a particular organization are less important than the commercial gain of the operations of that company. So when that company, because of world conditions, begins to fail, the first thing to happen is the rejection of the people. More and more people are made unusable, unemployable. Unemployment of the developed world is extraordinary today. This is the major problem of many of the nations of the world. This is also the result of modern technology, or rather the wrong application of modern technology. As human beings are replaced by automatic methods, technology which allows fewer and fewer people to be used, inevitably you have a growing surplus of unemployable people, second rate because they are not employable. And this is what's happening in the whole of the developed world, the G8 nations of the world. And this commercialization finds its way into every aspect of our living, into healthcare, for example, into education. What is commercialization to do with healthcare or education? And yet in every developed country, education and healthcare are dominated by the force of commercialization. This world is about human beings. The problems, the aim is for a better life for all human beings. And yet the quality of life, the actual quality of life, is going down and down and down for more and more human beings in the world. The opposite of the intention. More and more human beings are simply pawns now on a chessboard. And if their life and their work and their needs are seen in terms of the commercial aim, then they have a work and they are needed. But as soon as that is not fitting, they are swept up like pawns are swept up in a tussle on the chessboard. They don't count any longer. Human needs don't count in the minds of those who run the world. Is it any wonder that people are unhappy? We are born to be happy, but we can only be happy when we live correctly, live within the laws of life. Life has laws. Keep the laws, live within the laws, and you are happy. You have equilibrium. Defy the laws, live outside the laws, be as fanatical, as destructive as we are today, and the result is unhappiness for a growing number of people. There are millions of people today in the world who are starving, literally starving to death, who watch their children die because they have nothing to give their children to eat. Mainly in Africa, but also in parts of India, in parts of South America and elsewhere, even in what we call the developed world, the so-called rich world. There are more people starving to death today than 10, 15, 20 years ago. And the gap between the rich people of the world and the poorer people of the world is getting wider and wider and wider. Instead of getting less, it's getting more. Because of commercialization, more and more people are being excluded from the benefits of life. For how long do you think we can maintain this disequilibrium without some tremendous explosion, some revolution, some extraordinary change? It cannot be done. Humanity is facing its own destruction unless it changes. We have to understand that people are more important than profit.